You ever notice how weird money feels right after you cross a certain number? Like when you had $3,000 saved, every expense felt terrifying. Groceries, scary. Car repair, nightmare. One unexpected bill and it felt like your entire life was about to fall apart. Then you hit $10,000 and you finally exhale a little. Like, okay, I can breathe. But then something strange happens. You get close to $20,000 and suddenly your brain starts acting completely different. You hesitate less, you think bigger, you stop refreshing your bank app every 5 minutes like it's a heart monitor. And at the same time, you start making mistakes you never would have made before. If you've ever thought, why does money feel easier now but also more dangerous? Yeah, that's not an accident. My name's Alex, and I spend way too much time thinking about money psychology, saving, and why people make decisions that quietly sabotage their finances. And if you're someone who's working hard, saving consistently, but still feels stuck, or you're not sure what number actually changes your life, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Because today, we're talking about why everything changes even more after $20,000. And most people don't realize what this milestone actually unlocks, or what it quietly destroys if you're not careful.
Look, here's what most people believe. Money only changes when you hit 6 figures. Nothing really matters until $100,000. $20,000 isn't that much. And yeah, that sounds logical, but it's wrong. In fact, from a behavioral finance perspective, the jump from $10,000 to $20,000 is one of the biggest psychological shifts most people will ever experience with money. Not because of the amount, but because of what your brain stops worrying about. Here's what most people don't realize. Money doesn't change your life when it makes you rich. Money changes your life when it makes you feel safe. And safety is way more powerful than people think. According to the Federal Reserve, nearly 37% of Americans can't cover a $400 emergency without borrowing money, putting it on a credit card, or selling something. Let that sink in for a second. That means if a tire blows out or you get a minor medical bill, more than a third of the country is immediately in panic mode. So when you hit $20,000, whether that's in savings, investments, or cash equivalents, something powerful happens. Your brain quietly checks a box and says, I can survive. And that's massive. At this point, a job loss is no longer an immediate crisis. A medical bill isn't catastrophic. A car repair doesn't spiral into credit card debt. Your stress baseline drops. And when stress drops, your decision-making improves. But this is also where danger enters the room.
Here's the thing. Confidence is helpful. Overconfidence is expensive. Psychologists call this the security bias. Once people feel financially buffered, they start doing things like taking on more commitments, delaying expense tracking, justifying bigger purchases. And it sounds harmless. It feels earned. You start saying stuff like, I deserve this, I've been disciplined, it's only a few thousand. And that's how 20,000 quietly turns back into 12,000. Not because you're irresponsible, but because your brain switched modes. You went from survival mode to comfort mode, and comfort mode is dangerous. Let's do the math. Say you have $20,000 saved, no high-interest debt, monthly expenses of $2,500. That's 8 months of survival. 8. That's not luxury money, that's freedom money. Now compare that to someone with $8,000 saved. They have just over 3 months. And those people are not living the same life, even if they make the same salary. Because the second you have less than 3 months of cushion, you start making decisions out of fear. You tolerate bad jobs longer. You avoid asking for raises. You don't take good risks. You panic spend when things feel unstable. That difference changes risk tolerance, career decisions, spending behavior, negotiation confidence. You don't just have money, you have leverage. Let me tell you a quick story. 2 people, same age, same income, same city. Person A has $6,000 saved. Person B has $22,000 saved.
Person A takes the first job offer, avoids asking for raises, stays in bad situations too long. Person B negotiates, walks away from bad deals, thinks long term. Same income, different outcomes. Why? Because money doesn't buy things first. It buys options.
Now, you might be thinking, okay, Alex, but $20,000 still isn't life-changing. And you're right. It doesn't change what you can buy. It changes how you think. And how you think determines what you eventually own. At $20,000, 3 invisible changes happen. You stop optimizing for survival. You start optimizing for comfort. And you should start optimizing for growth. But most people don't. This is the fork in the road. Most people choose comfort. The wealthy choose systems. Here's the uncomfortable truth. More people lose money at $20,000 than at $5,000. Why? Because when you're broke, discipline is forced. When you're comfortable, discipline becomes optional. And this is where lifestyle creep accelerates. Subscriptions pile up. Small treats compound into big leaks. Think of your finances like a boat. When you're poor, you notice every leak. When you're comfortable, water still comes in, you just stop checking. $15 here, $30 there, $99 once a year. No single hole sinks the ship. Complacency does. If you're approaching or past $20,000, here's your first move. Lock your survival number. Calculate 6 months of core expenses, put it somewhere boring and safe. Do not touch it for investing or spending. This money is not for growth, it's for clarity, because clarity is what makes you unstoppable.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Once your floor is locked, create a separate bucket, even $2,000 to $5,000 dedicated only to learning, skill growth, and calculated risks. Why? Because when risk money is defined, you stop gambling with survival money. Most people think wealth accelerates at $100,000. That's partially true, but the mental acceleration starts much earlier. At $20,000, you finally have enough margin to think clearly, say no, and plan 5 to 10 years ahead. That's rare and incredibly powerful. Let me be blunt for a second. $20,000 can either be the foundation of wealth or the peak before regression. It depends on whether you respect it or relax because of it. Money rewards structure, not comfort. If you're building towards $20,000 right now, keep going. You're closer than you think. And if you've already crossed it, this is your reminder. Don't let comfort erase discipline. Don't let confidence turn into complacency. Because once you understand money psychology, the math starts working for you. If this helped you think differently about your finances, hit subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and let me know in the comments where you're at on your journey. I'll see you in the next one.